Today's video, I'm going to be showing you guys the best controller settings, the best NVIDIA filters, and the best graphics settings to use on Warzone after the most recent Season 5 update. There's a lot of things to actually talk about in this video, so I'm going to try to be as concise as possible. If at any point in time you have questions about what I'm talking about, just let me know down in the comments below. I literally read and reply to every single one. Now, the first thing I actually want to talk about is the NVIDIA filters. This is a PC only thing. A lot of people from my chat have been asking me about this, and so if you're coming from my chat before the settings video, filters is what I'm going to show you first. Basically, what these filters do is it allows you to change the color and brightness of different areas of your screen. You can make your game sharper, clearer. You can remove a lot of the shadows. It's honestly a pretty big cheat code when it comes to Warzone, especially in some of those darker areas. Just kind of a little bit before and after. I know it might look a little whitewashy or a lot brighter to you guys, but it really does add a lot of clarity to my game. The difference is huge, and it's honestly not that hard to set up. I'll be sure to link the NVIDIA app down in the description. It's different from the GeForce experience. It's just the NVIDIA app, and all you gotta do is you're gonna add these in this order. So you're gonna add RTX dynamic brightness 25 and 50. You're gonna add details and just copy these exact settings. I like to do 10 sharpen, 100 clarity. You should make sure you're on 100 clarity. It's very, very important. The bloom and HDR toning kind of help with the brightness. My monitor is very dark. You can leave these at 0 if you want to, if you feel like my color is a little bit too whitewashy for you. I'm on one of the new OLEDs though, and the blacks on this are very, very dark, so I need to crank this up a little bit, but leave those at 0 if you want to. My recommendation is to try the HDR and bloom at 32 and 10. If it's too bright, just set them both to 0. Brightness and contrast, I like to set the exposure to 10, contrast 0. Highlights, again, kind of same thing. My monitor is very dark. You can fiddle around with that, but I think around 30 is that sweet spot. Shadows, you want to be on -78. Removes a very large majority of the dark spots and shadows on the map. Again, if it's too bright, just lower it a little bit. Most people are around that -80 to -50 mark. And lastly, for the fourth filter, you're just going to be messing a little bit with the color. You touch this temperature too if you want to. The lower the number, the more blue the screen. The higher the number, the more orange the screen. It's very, very sensitive. I like my screen personally a little bit cooler, so I tend to shift it towards -2. If you're looking for a more orangey kind of red game, right. Vibrance at the 30 is a pretty standard number. Once you get kind of past this, it starts to look a little bit too vibrant, a little too orange. I like to keep it around 30 to 50, kind of that happy medium. Feel free to copy those and just use them as a starting point. Copy this exact order from top down. That's all I have for the filters. Again, if you guys have questions, let me know down in the comments below. Now let's go ahead and jump into my controller settings. Long story short, you're going to basically copy all these. Make sure button layout is on default, unless you're on a default controller, at which point just ask me in the comments. Control vibration off. Dead zone should be set to exactly this. You don't want any trigger dead zones. I don't know why that's a thing by default. Your left stick min should be on 1 to 3. A little bit of preference. I think my movement is more fluid on 1. Make your left analog stick more sensitive. The max should be no higher than 65. I like to keep them on at 50. Again, it's a little more sensitive when you have it at 50. Right stick min 3. Right stick max 99. That's pretty standard as well. Most people are using about the same thing. The aiming settings, I like to play 88.75. 661 is a very popular sense, but I think 88 is that perfect happy medium because it gives you 6 sensitivity when you aim out sights, unless you look around at the 8 sensitivity speed, meaning things like looting, running through doors, and having, again, better movement. Things that are really important in Warzone makes those things a lot easier to do. Sensitivity multiplier should all be on 1. Vertical axis stuff, this should all be on standard. Tac stance should be on 1. I don't touch any of that stuff. Aim response curve should be on dynamic. It's a little confusing to kind of explain all that stuff, so I'm just going to leave it to that, but just make sure you're on dynamic. It's by far the best. Then just copy the rest of these settings, but make sure you guys are not using the Black Ops aim assist. A lot of people like to use Black Ops aim assist because they think it feels better or gives you more aim assist. That's not true. That's something that happened a while ago where it actually did give you a little more aim assist. Not a thing anymore, and it hasn't been a thing for a very long time. So if you're on Black Ops aim assist, you're honestly hurting yourself by using it. Everybody should be on the default aim assist type. Gameplay, just copy these exact settings. The only thing that's kind of weird here on this is the hybrid slide and dive behavior, but to be honest with you guys, I think it's worth getting used to. You should 100% try to get used to that. It's by far one of the most important settings that they've added in the last couple of seasons. It allows you to have that really fast and smooth sliding around the map while still giving you the ability to dive. The nice thing about diving too is it helps a lot, especially on rebirth maps like Vondel. It helps with jumping from building to building. There's a lot of jumps that you can only make if you dive and then pull your chute versus just simply running off the ledge and jumping and pulling your chute. Long story short, it gives you more versatile movement. It helps you get around the map faster. You should all be on hybrid. The rest of these settings here, like I said, is kind of copy. There isn't really too much else I can talk about in here. To be honest, these settings aren't super important. Now for the graphics settings, it's going to look a little bit different from you guys because it's going to have my monitor and a bunch of other graphics card stuff. But long story short, make sure your display mode is full screen exclusive, not borderless. It adds input delay. It needs to be full screen exclusive for the lowest input latency. Make sure that display monitor is obviously set to your main monitor. Display adapter should be your graphics card. Refresh rate should be set to the highest possible. Same with the resolution. Aspect ratio, I leave on automatic. I leave the colors on 2.2. For the NVIDIA reflex the latency, I leave on plus boost. And then the rest of these just copy them. Not a huge deal. None of these settings really change a whole lot. You can also cap your frame rate if you want to at the main menu here. I just leave it on unlimited. For the quality settings, now this fidelity cast setting is a setting you guys will see on console. If you're watching this on console, sorry for not addressing it a little bit sooner, but this is kind of how the order of this video works. This is the most important setting on console, and it's one of the very few settings you actually have when it comes to graphics on console. Make sure the upscaling sharpening is on fidelity cast. Click show more, set it all the way to 100%. Your game will look night and day better. For some weird reason on console, you have this really nasty lack of clarity on the game, and I don't know why the setting isn't on by default, but this basically makes the game look twice as good. It's that good. On PC, you won't see as big of a difference, but it's still very helpful, and it really adds to that clarity. The rest of the graphics settings basically copy. If you want your textures on your gun to look nice, make sure these first two options are set to high. If you don't care about how pretty your camos look or how nice your camos look, set them to low if you want the max FPS. I'm on a 4090, so I had to say F it and use the high because I want my guns to look nice. The rest of these graphic settings, you're going to just want to copy. They're going to help you get the max FPS possible in the game. Water quality is something that I do want to talk about just for a second because a lot of people turn this totally off. Water caustics and wetness really do help see through the water. I know it sounds stupid. Mainly the water caustic setting. So if you have this setting on off, it should bare minimum be on caustics. If you don't care as much about the frames, I don't know how big of a hit it actually gives you, just set it to all. I use all. I haven't noticed a huge difference, honestly. For the view, I use the max FOV with the affected ADS field of view. Make sure that this is not on independent. It should be on affected. It makes you feel like you have less recoil. Kind of puts you further back behind your gun so you don't see as much or feel as much of the recoil. And then the rest of these you're just going to want to copy. Again, on console, you're going to have both of these motion blurs on, and you're going to have 0.25 film grain on both console and on PC. Make sure that that's all off. It's going to make your game look like crap. They added it for realism purposes, and it's just not good. It's not good. The camera movement stuff, copy exactly what I have here. This is going to help your game feel a lot smoother because your camera's not going to be moving around as much. That's all you need to touch on the view settings. The audio stuff, I do have to say I am using the Artist War Audio. If you guys don't know what that is, long story short, is it's a special audio EQ for Warzone that helps you hear things like footsteps, chests, the important game sounds, and reducing the audio sounds of the things you don't necessarily need. Things like your own gunshots and stuff like that. It's a little bit of a pain to set up, I'm not gonna lie. It takes probably an hour, but the guide is totally free and you can search that up on YouTube with just Artist War Audio. If you're on console, you should be using either home theater or PC speaker. I believe PC speaker is the loudest, so if you want your game to be really loud, use PC speaker. I'm using cinema though because I'm on the R audio stuff and that's what he told me to use. For the interface, make sure you guys copy exactly what I have here. I do like to use the crosshairs. Make sure you turn on the center dot with the default dot size. It helps a lot with your centering. It's really worth getting used to. Telemetry is a little bit of personal preference. Choose whatever you like. Just the little icons at the top left of the screen. And the only thing in these actual settings that I go in and change is the HUD bounds. I don't touch any of the color stuff. I leave that all to the NVIDIA filters that I talked about at the start of the video. HUD bounds is basically how pulled towards the center of the screen things like your mini map are, your ammo count, stuff like that. I personally like to just pull my mini map in from the left side of my screen more towards the middle. That looks like this right here. And it helps me to be able to read the mini map a lot more clearly. You don't have to do this, but I think it helps a lot, especially if you're somebody who struggles with the mini map awareness in general. I think having it a little bit closer towards the center of your screen, which is where you're mainly looking, is very helpful. Minimap shape should be on square, and for the rest of this stuff, just copy the settings. That's all you guys need to know. There's nothing else too important in this section. And that's going to do it for all of my settings. That's my NVIDIA filters, my game settings, my controller settings, the view settings, literally everything that you guys need to know for Season 5. You're probably going to have to tweak those NVIDIA filters a little bit. Like I said, I'm on one of the newer OLEDs, and the blacks are very black on these monitors. I don't really know how to explain it simply, but hopefully those NVIDIA filters that I gave you guys with those numbers give you a pretty good starting point to kind of fine-tune how you want your game to look. And if you guys have any questions at all, please let me know down in the comments below. I'll get back to every single one. And right before the end of this video, I do want to say G Fuel's doing a big sale, and you can save with my discount code KP by clicking the G Fuel link down below. G Fuel is the #1 sugar-free energy formula in the market. They have hundreds of different flavors that you can try, so they'll have something that you love. Please make sure to check out G Fuel with the link below. Hopefully you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you guys in the next one.